an addict looking for a cheap fix. That's how Coca-Cola started, but it has grown to one of the largest companies in the world, and it's all because of John Pemberton. Wounded in the American Civil War fighting for the Confederacy, Colonel John Pemberton developed Coca-Cola in 1886 as a patient medicine. Because of his wounds, he was given morphine to soothe the pain. Quickly, John Pemberton became addicted to the substance, and he was looking for a substitute. As a pharmacist from Atlanta, Georgia, Pemberton knew how dangerous this addiction can be, so he was looking for an alternative. Knowing that he had previously created other patient medicines, including a tonic for neuralgia and a syrup for dyspepsia, the man was confident that he could find a recipe that could cure him from his addiction once and for all. He was also looking for a new product to sell at his local pharmacy, so Pemberton began experimenting with various different ingredients. His goal? To create a tonic that could cure ailments such as headache, fatigue, and depression. The main ingredients in Pemberton's original formula for Coca-Cola were coca leaves and cola nuts. Coca leaves contain the alkaloid cocaine, which at the time was believed to have medicinal properties. Cola nuts, on the other hand, contain caffeine and other stimulants. Pemberton used them as a marketing gimmick so he could claim his drink improved both mental and physical performance. Pemberton mixed the coca leaves and cola nuts with other ingredients including sugar, vanilla, and caramel, and added carbonated water to create a fizzy beverage. At the time, it was believed that carbonated water was good for health, so that's the only reason Coca-Cola is fizzy. With the recipe completed, he bottled it up and began selling it as Pemberton's French Wine Coca, a nerve tonic. The name suggests that Pemberton was inspired by the success of smashing that like button just like you should if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, he was probably inspired by Vin Mariani, the coca wine made in French Corsica. And there was also Cola Coca, a drink that originated from Spain but was presented at a contest held in Philadelphia. They had some troubles with a Spanish company, but they bought them outright in 1953, and they've had no problems ever since. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. First, we need to tell you how the whole movement of Coca-Cola began. Coca-Cola's popularity rose in May of 1886, when the prohibitionists made the temperance movements popular. John Pemberton marketed Coca-Cola as a temperance drink, which appealed to the supporters of the temperance movement. The first sales were at Jacob's Pharmacy in Atlanta in May of 1886, and the drink sold for only 5 cents a glass. To add to the drink's hype, it was marketed and sold as a patient medicine, with Pemberton claiming it could cure various diseases, including morphine addiction, indigestion, and headaches. The first ever ad for the fizzy drink ran on May 29th in the Atlanta Journal. Coca-Cola became an overnight success, so Pemberton began selling the syrup to other pharmacies and soda fountains in Atlanta under the name of Coca-Cola, in honor of the two main ingredients in the fizzy drink, coca leaves and cola nuts. However, at the time, 3 different businesses began selling different versions of Coca-Cola on the market, so Pemberton decided to sign a co-partnership with them. But there was another man involved, Asa Candler. Pemberton claimed that the name Coca-Cola belonged to his son Charlie Pemberton, and they allowed the other 2 manufacturers to make the drink using their formula and name. And it's Pemberton's son who sold Asa Candler the 3rd stake in the Coca-Cola Company at the time. According to a book written by Candler's son, Charlie Pemberton and Walker, Candles & Co., bought a 1/3 interest in the company for a down payment of $50 and another $500 due in 30 days. After that, Charlie only had rights to the name. The following year, Candler bought half of the remaining shares in the company for $750. Suddenly, he became a major shareholder in the company, so Candler had majority ownership of the formula and the drink production. But Charlie held on to the rights for the name. In 1887, Pemberton's bookkeeper created and designed the logo for Coca-Cola. The man's name was Frank Mason Robinson. The name stuck in people's minds, and Candler knew this. As long as Charlie and John owned the rights to the name, he could not sell his drink under the name Coca-Cola. He had to sell his drink under the name of Yum Yum or Coke. None of these names caught on, and Candler was beginning to become anxious. Then, out of nowhere, on August 16, 1888, John Pemberton died suddenly. This was Candler's sign to move quickly and acquire the company's rights. How fast are we talking? Well, he went to John Pemberton's funeral and offered to buy the name off her for $300 at the time. She was too distraught by the sudden death of her husband to think about these sorts of things, so she didn't even acknowledge the offer. Just 14 days later, on August 30th, Candler approached the two other shareholders, Margaret Dozier and Woolfolk Walker, and offered to pay them $1,000 in several installments for the full rights of the company. By September 1st, 1888, Candler had acquired the full rights of the company, and he only had to pay a total of $2,300 for them. With the company now in his hands, he could finally incorporate it into the Coca-Cola Company. They continued selling the formula as a fountain drink, but then things changed. In 1894, the Biden Hard Candy Company was the first one to put Coca-Cola in a bottle on March 12th. The original bottles were much simpler. They were hot like the Hobble skirt bottles we all know. Nevertheless, Candler saw the benefit of bottling the fizzy drink. This would allow him to sell it all over the country, not just in his beloved Atlanta. So he struck a deal to smash that subscribe button just like you should if you haven't done so already. But no, seriously now. The deal was made with two entrepreneurs from Chattanooga, Tennessee. They were the first ones to propose the idea to Candler, and they were good salesmen. So they convinced Candler to sign a contract with them and give them full bottling rights. The mistake that Candler made was signing the contract for only a single dollar. He didn't foresee that bottling could be another lucrative business. In the contract, it specified that the bottles would all be sold for only 5 cents, and the contract had no fixed duration. And now, you know why the price of Coca-Cola remained the same from 1886 until 1959. Before selling the company on September 12, 1919, Candler turned it into a national symbol. To do this, he used the power of marketing. A genius at the craft, he had different strategies for growing Coca-Cola's popularity. First off, Candler offered free samples. Candler offered free samples of Coca-Cola in order to get new customers to try the drink and hopefully like it. Coupons and giveaways. This was his way of promoting the drink to the masses. Also, now people had a reason to buy a bottle of Coke. Advertising. Candler invested heavily in advertising, using billboards, posters, and newspaper ads to spread the word about his wonderful invention, branding. Ever since he fought for the rights of the name, Candler understood the importance of a strong brand. That's why he made sure to market Coca-Cola as a high-quality, reliable product. Sponsorships. Most of Coca-Cola's strategies go back to Candler, who sponsored events and sports teams to increase brand awareness. He knew that people would begin to positively associate Coca-Cola with their favorite team or sport. Contest. Candler held contests and encouraged ordinary people to come up with slogans and jingles for his company. Expansion. Candler expanded Coca-Cola's distribution network, making the drink available in more locations and reaching a wider customer base. All of this helped Coca-Cola become a national brand, and he managed to sell it to a group of investors for $25 million. After reincorporating the company under Delaware General Corporation law, they issued 500,000 shares and sold them for $40 apiece. With this, the Coca-Cola we know today was born. The TV ads, product placement, and endorsements by celebrities in the 20th century made Coca-Cola the powerhouse it is today. You'll love these videos next.